Let's see who shows up to this thing. Let's see. Check my microphone real quick. Yeah. Super interesting when you do lives. Like they say, you should get used to talking to yourself, but you never really get used to talking to yourself, like not out loud. It's kind of weird, to be honest. But for those who choose to show up, we're going to dive into UFC 303 and the I don't know. It was kind of it was an IRA card. It wasn't great in my opinion. I guess I don't know if my expectations are too high for the UFC right now. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't really know because I'll be honest, like the storylines that are coming out of these things, they're kind of bland in a sense. Like I'm looking at everything that the other people are creating and putting out there, and nothing really is just like, ooh, I really need to see that. It's kind of same old, to be honest. Even looking at like Twitter, like people are saying the same stuff. Um, I don't know if it's a cyclical thing, if it's the regular boredom thing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the UFC or combat sports in right now. It's kind of boring. Um, but whatever. We'll talk about it. Let me see. Let's throw this out here. Here's something right here that I don't really care about, but I kind of do, but I don't. Um, so apparently Nate Masvidal and Jorge, or Nate Masvidal, Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal are fighting this weekend. And who really cares about this fight? You got two dudes who are kind of washed up. Um, Nate Diaz looked kind of whack in his fight against the Disney kid. Like he doesn't have any pop on his punches at all. I mean, he never really did, but like he really doesn't now. Um, it's embarrassing the way things have kind of fallen for him as far as his striking is concerned. He's never been a wrestler, which of course that doesn't make any difference in this particular fight. But in his prospects to come back to the UFC, which I know that they said that their door is always open. But why would anybody want to come? Why would they want to fight him? What's up, Paradox? What's up, bro? Um, no, I'm talking about this Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal fight that's happening this weekend. Do you care about this? Like, do you know of anybody that cares about this fight? Like, it seems kind of pointless. Like, I would say it's a money grab, but like, who's paying for it? I literally don't know anybody that cares about this fight. Um, I don't really even see anything about it on social media. Nobody talking about it. Are they fighting in front of family and friends? Like, what? I don't. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a pointless fight, in my opinion. And then Nate Diaz and really kind of Jorge Masvidal's been talking about this a little bit too. Um, you said you're hyped for the fight, but very aware it means absolutely nothing. I don't know, man. I'm not really. The reason I'm not hyped is because of how far they've kind of fallen off. Like since that first fight, since they fought for the original BMF back in the day. I say back in the day, it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But when they originally fought for the BMF, like they were kind of at the top of their game. And you really didn't know how that fight was going to go. But this fight, like Jorge is way slower than he used to be. Like that much was clear when he fought Gilbert Burns. Like his reaction time is super slow in comparison to the way it was. What's up, Frankie? Um, but yeah, he's gotten super slow. And then Nate pillow punches. Like he's got no power in his punches. There's no consequences to doing anything wrong. Like I think that Jorge's gonna win this fight, and I'll watch it for free, but I'll be damned if I'm paying for it. I ain't paying for that fight. I wouldn't pay for that fight. If it was in Dallas, like the tickets would have to be like at a decent price for me to go. Like I wouldn't pay like real money for it. Like $30. I'll give you 30. I'll give you 30 and I'll come. But if you like, oh, $100, you sit, kind of middle of the way. Nah, I'm good. I'm cool. I ain't doing it because it doesn't mean anything to me at all. He said, "Yeah, that's why I'm interested because Masvidal has got a lot worse, so it could be competitive." He has gotten a lot worse. Like it's crazy how, but that's what happens, with men in general, especially at a highly competitive sport. If your reaction time falls off just a little bit, it looks exponential when you're in these fights. Um, he said Jorge should beat his ass, especially he should beat him. Like Nate is tough, and I feel like that's the only thing that he's bringing to this game, to this fight is he's tough. He ain't gonna he ain't gonna knock Jorge out. He can't knock nobody out with 4-ounce gloves. Think he gonna knock somebody out with actual boxing gloves? Nah, I don't think so. So you think Diaz has a better chance in boxing than uh I don't know, dude. I don't I think he should retire before it gets really embarrassing. And he starts actually once the chin goes and it starts to look really, really bad. I mean, we're about to see what a Diaz looks like when nothing's working for him. When Nick goes in there, because that's gonna be bad. That's gonna be awful. I think Nick looked horrendous against Robbie Lawler, and he's gonna look much worse in this fight too. But whatever, man. I guess they needed to fulfill his contract, and I guess I don't know. I don't care about that fight, but I'm probably am gonna watch it just because I'm a sicko. But I don't care about it though. I can tell you that. But I got another question for y'all, and this goes to UFC 303, and I've been seeing this around a little bit. Is oh, it's 8 rounds. Yeah, they'll pass out and throw up after three. Um, he said Masvidal's in terrible shape most of the time, so he could really badly gas from punching Nate's thick head. No, you're right about that. He is in terrible shape. He is in awful shape. Awful shape. Yeah, and Nick might get killed against Luque because Luque is even Luque falling off is better than Nick at whatever his peak is at this point. And Luque has fallen off, but Jesus, Nick is a cartoon character. I don't know, dude. I don't know about that. I don't know if I mean, I guess maybe he could win on points, pillow punches. He lands more pillow punches than Jorge does loading up on whatever he's gonna throw. It's possible. But I have no hope for Nate. And dude, do you think that he ever comes back to the UFC? Like that's what he wants. He really wants that. Like deep down, he wants to finish his career coming back to the UFC. Why? Hey, Luque is done, but the UFC just wants us to witness Nick and Ferg lose on the same card. I think they might get their wish. I think they might. The thing about Tony Ferguson is like in short spurts, he actually looks okay. He actually does. Eh, Nick never looks okay inside the octagon or outside the octagon. He never looks okay. He always looks like he needs help. Like in his regular speech patterns. He looks like he needs help. He needs a teleprompter, but I don't know if he can read. He needs help in every walk of life. He needs help. Somebody help him. But they want to throw him out there to get punched in the face and lose more brain cells. I guess. I guess. Um. Oh well, you mean Tony and Nick? That would have been the fight to make. I mean, because I think we would have been way more interested in that one. That's like a two old people fighting at a retirement home to see who can get to the Jello fastest. Like that's kind of what that feels like. It would have been more compelling, and I feel like they should have given them Jello at the end of it just to see that surprise because they ain't gonna get no belts. Yeah, uh, I I think that Jorge's kind of banking on the fact he knocks him out in four. I think that's what happens. And then after that, he just kind of survives after that. Um, Habib Habib has a lot of problems right now. He has a lot of things going on that what I posted on Twitter. I posted that no on Instagram. I posted that Habib might have to fight again because just for rent money at this point because they seized his bank accounts. Like, bruh, he needs some bread at this point. I don't know, man. Habib has got a lot of issues, but he does get some money from cornering Islam. But Islam fights like one time a year, maybe two times. What's up, Christian? No, appreciate you jumping in. Um, I don't know. First of all, another thing is I don't know how y'all doing all these lives and being in all these lives. Like, dude, every time I open Instagram, I mean not Instagram, but YouTube, there's a live going on, and I open it up and one of y'all are either in it or it's one of y'all's lives. I don't know how y'all are doing this. What else are y'all doing? Like, are y'all doing that while y'all doing like regular life? How are y'all doing this? How are y'all everywhere at the same time? Um, I think no, they seized his bank accounts. The because of him being behind on taxes, they seized his bank accounts. So yeah, he's got some situations going on. It's funny too because I thought he was like good with the Russian government, but apparently he's he just hasn't been paying his taxes or something, or at least they're saying that he hasn't been paying his taxes. But I mean, that government has got some interesting things. I won't say anything negative about their government because I don't want no trouble, but they got some interesting things going on. I'll say that much. Um, but yeah, he needs to lay low, and he might need to put some gloves on and go cut some weight because he's probably a 205 right now. Yeah, I'm surprised Western isn't here too. He's normally dude, like Western will pop on. I mentioned this before, like we were doing a test for the Frankie and Jack's channel, like when we first got it up a couple weeks ago. I was doing a test to see how things were gonna show up or whatever. And I didn't create a thumbnail, I didn't do nothing. I just through just opened it up and sure enough, I mean literally like 4 seconds in, he was like, "What are y'all doing in here?" Like, I don't know how he's everywhere. And he see, there he goes. See? I How are you doing this, bro? How are you everywhere at the same time? Man, y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. But back to Habib. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't I don't know how I don't know what's gonna happen with him, man. I feel bad for him because I actually like Habib a lot, but he's in a bad situation. He might need to move. He moved to the US. We'll take him. He can move in with DC. Yeah, you're like Candyman. We said your name like 3 times and you just popped up. It's insane, insane. But that's what I'm saying. He is like that. He is. Let me throw up y'all's chats up here. Yeah, man, y'all are wild. Hey, so let me ask y'all about Yuri. Did y'all hear about Yuri talking about dropping down to middleweight? Um, I me and CJ and the kids were going to the movies yesterday, and me and her were just chopping it up about the UFC and what we saw at 303, and this came up or whatever. What's up, Tats? And and it came up about him going or thinking about going to middleweight. First of all, she said that she thought that that would be a tough cut for him, but I'm thinking, he's a very disciplined dude, and I feel like he can make that cut if he wanted to, if he really wanted to. But what do y'all think about that? Do you think that at this point, since he's lost to Alex twice, like should he drop to middleweight? Should he make that attempt before he gets too old and it'll be too hard? Um, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough thing. I mean, if he could make it, he would be a force in that division. He would be a problem, I think. I think because I'm thinking of the top five, like him against um Sean Strickland. He do all right. He do all right with that. Because he's just so weird. He's not gonna respect Sean Strickland's range. He'll walk right through that. Um, I don't know about him going to heavyweight, dude. Like anybody moving up to heavyweight is it's always questionable to me because of the fact that heavyweight is 206 pounds, 200 to 265 pounds. That is such a big range. And those dudes, the top of the hill, the Aspinalls, Jones, I guess. Take out Jones and Stipe, delete them. The top of the hill with the Sergeys and the Volkovs, like those are really, really big dudes, man. Like I don't know if him going up to heavyweight would work. Um, yeah, there are fights for him at light heavyweight if he wants them. And every fight at this point that he's in is going to be a big fight because he's actually become one of the more popular fighters in the light heavyweight division. Um, yeah, him going to middleweight, like you said, Paradox. Like I think that would drain his chin. That would be a problem. Uh, um, yeah, him losing to Alex doesn't mean he's done at 205, but his aspirations for getting the title, it just becomes a longer road to get back to it. That's the thing. It's like this is yeah, for me when I was writing this down was it depends on the goals. It depends on what he wants to do. If his goal is getting the title and he's willing to walk through, fighting these contenders and making it undeniable, then that's just what he's going to have to do. I mean, we just saw it happen, or we're seeing it play out in real time with Robert Whitaker, and he still hasn't made it back to getting that third title shot. Um, Yuri versus Khalil. I, anytime we bring up Khalil, man, I'm like, okay, Frankie's got something to say about Khalil. And there he goes, put that fraud t-shirt on a t-shirt. Like Yuri against Khalil, I think Yuri knocks him out. But that's kind of what I'm going to say about most people outside of Alex. For some reason, he just can't solve that puzzle. It's a hard puzzle to solve. Really, really hard puzzle to solve. Dang, Matua, you really see he likes Khalil more than I do. I like Khalil a lot, but I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. Khalil is gonna have a hard time getting inside without getting hurt. And Yuri don't care about his chin. So you would love Yuri to take some time off. It'd be cool if he started visiting gyms and such to get different perspectives from coaches that could help him or could possibly help him a lot. He said that he was going to take some time off. I did see that in one of his posts. I hope he does, because he deserves it. This was a short notice fight, so he does deserve that. He said he's not very old. Take 2 fights, Khalil, then he'll get a trainer to explain to him about the high guard. Yeah. By then, Alex is gone. Yeah, he could just wait Alex out because Alex is the oldest champion that we have, um, in the UFC period. So he could just wait him out. There's a lot of slow singing and floor Pringle. You're gonna hit him with the Biggie line, okay? Um, yeah, he could stay at light heavyweight if he. It's that to me. That's the best thing for his body is to stay at light heavyweight. He's very comfortable there, and he does beat everybody else. He really does. Um, so he might as well. A bigger Lorenz Larkin, man. Lorenz Larkin was on his way, dude, to getting a title shot before he left. He really was. Um, he said Johnny Walker smoked Khalil. Yuri would bong rip him. Oh man, y'all hear about Johnny Walker contemplating about going to or going to heavyweight? Yeah, he's contemplating it. I mean, yeah, we should let Jerry or Yuri know what the plan is. I think that Johnny Walker uh, should sit down first of all, and I think that he should just take. Not he already said that he's not going to fight the rest of the year, which is great. Um, and maybe I think that him at heavyweight will be interesting, but he would need to put on just a little bit of weight, just a little bit, maybe 10 more pounds. But I think that he would be very interesting at heavyweight because of his movement and speed. He's going up for sure and wants a top 15. Mm, mm-mm. Okay, so here's the thing. Well, what we just said about Yuri going down and depleting his chin by cutting the weight, could that same thing be true for Johnny Walker? I mean, it could be that when he cuts down to 205, he does deplete his chin, and him fighting at heavyweight is healthier for him. It could be true. Now, I don't know if that's true. I mean, I'm watching him getting chinned out repeatedly, but you never know, man. You never know. It might work out. It could work out. But yeah, it sounds like nobody thinks that Yuri should drop down to heavyweight or to middleweight. I think that wouldn't work. I don't think that would work. He might. Walker might excel at heavyweight. He might. I think it's possible, man. It's a more natural weight for him. No weight cut. He'd be happier. He'd be happier. He says it's not like heavyweights are better at landing punches and Walker's already a fucking giant. He is. He's 6'6". It's a big boy. He's a big old boy. He would be the tallest outside of Volkov and um Robele Despania. I think he'd be right up there. Yeah, he could. I think he might do all right, man. He might. Yeah, y'all kind of talking me into it a little bit. I kind of want to see one fight up there. I want to not against like Fat Luca. I want to see somebody that can move a little bit. That'll give him a little bit of a test. I want to see him against somebody that can actually do something. I think that would be interesting. Yeah, now I'm interested. Y'all talk me into it. Y'all talk me into it. Let me throw another one to y'all. Um, what should be next for Ian Machado Gary? I do think Walker would beat Despania, maybe if as long as he doesn't let him touch him. The dude has real power. Um, It would be. It would be. He needs his swagger back. He needs it bad. He needs it really, really bad. Because getting destroyed like that in front of everybody that you know can definitely destroy your self confidence. Um, Robele has a massive hole in his game. If you take him down, he has no idea what to do at all whatsoever. But his range is insane, insane. He said, "I wish Gary would fight Burns, but they're cool with each other." Yeah. Plus, Gary's probably looking ahead. I don't think he's looking back. Um, Colby Gilbert, Ugly Jake, give him a tough grappler. Hmm. Hmm. He showed everything that you expected him to be during 303. What is that though? What do you mean when you say that? See, we need to push the Gary JDM narrative. Interesting he didn't mention his name. Now that's the fight that I want to see. I want to see him against JDM. And it's only because JDM has that injury that I even lean that way. Because like I've said before, I feel like Shavkat should just fight the winner of Leon Edwards and Bilal. That's what I would want. I want to see Shavkat fight the winner of them, and then JDM might as well go ahead and knock out Gary. That's what we want. I mean, that's what I want. And it was actually kind of going that way until he started to, leg hump him. Give me Ian Gary against JDM. That's what I want. Does anybody know how healthy JDM is? I know that, he was injured and all that, but has anybody heard anything about when he can fight? Because that's the one I want to see. That's the one. Um, well, when you say he's not the elite striker we thought and his ground game is bad, I think that he's not elite compared to MVP. He couldn't figure him out. Like the way that MVP crashes in like that, I think that he just couldn't figure him out. I think that that he's still a good striker. Is just MVP is just different, man. He's just a weird, weird dude. Um, then you got Gary versus JM is a public humiliation ritual execution. Yes, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. I want him to be executed. Embarrassing. Like to be carried out on a stretcher. That's what I'm looking forward to. JDM in December. That's the narrative. That's what we should be pushing out there. Everybody go to Twitter and say JDM versus Gary in December. That's the one. Well, everybody looks slow against MVP. But I think that yeah, his striking is just not on MVP's level, man. It's just not on his level. His BJJ looked okay. It looked all right. I mean, he did what he had to do to win. I don't kind of fault him for that. Um, but I feel like it really probably should have been a draw. I would have gave them both a 9-9 in that last round. Like I feel like um, Gary won the first, MVP won the second, draw in the third. I would give him a draw. That's because the third, like the first half of it, MVP won. The second half of it, Gary won. That's just what I would have gave them. But I guess they had to pick somebody. They don't like giving draws. Said Volkov is probably the second best guy, and he's still a level below Tom. Is he the second best guy? I don't know that he's the second best guy or not. Um, is he better than Curtis Blades? I feel like it's kind of close. I definitely think Tom is the best. That's to me that's kind of indisputable. Um, I don't count John Jones. I don't count Stipe has not fought anybody that is on the current UFC roster at all. So I don't count him in anything at all whatsoever. Um, but and then John has fought one person. Oh well, there's Cyril Gahn. There we go. You think the Volkov is better than Cyril Gahn? I don't know about that either. Um, let's see. Yeah, the 10-9 thing must kind of bone MVP in that one. Yeah, it did. It did. The 10-9 must system is an archaic system and they just refuse to even address it. I feel like that they should have looked at it that way, but they got to do what they got to do. All right. He said, Aaron, I'm with you, but I think he has definite potential to be amazing. His placement with his strikes is usually reasonably nice. He's a predator most of the time. He usually uses his range really well. Yeah. Um, Blades beat him, but I think Volkov has leveled up since then. He has. He has. It's true. I think that Volkov is a way better fighter than he was, back when Derek Lewis knocked him out, towards the end of their fight. I think that he's improved leaps and bounds since then, not only in his grappling, but in his fight IQ. But I still don't think that he's better than Cyril Gahn. But the thing is, though, what he has over Cyril Gahn is activity. Cyril Gahn had the opportunity to show how good he is against Tom Aspinall and said no. I'm going to go and do this movie that nobody has seen. So, but I still think he's better, at least right now. I don't think Cyril Gahn is overrated. I think he's rated properly. I think he's rated properly. I think it's Tom number one and Cyril Gahn. Well, I'll put John Jones above Cyril Gahn because he did beat him. But I don't know. Heavyweight's so stupid. Tom, Volkov, Gahn, and Blades. That's fair, man. I understand it. Volkov is he's active, and I can understand why you would put him over Cyril Gahn. I still think Cyril Gahn's better though. Yeah, John Jones is dead to you. Yeah, he's. I love John Jones, but in the cage, John Jones, but inactivity, man, inactivity. He said Gary is reminding you of Darren Till regarding how his career is playing out. Like how so though? Um, is it because it's a little bit more hype than substance? Because I can definitely see that, especially when Darren Till was moving up in the welterweight division. Um, there was a lot more hype than substance in a sense because he was fighting these people, but he wasn't necessarily finishing them. Um, but I felt like Darren Till had more finishing power than Ian Gary during his run at welterweight with that left hand. But I can see where you're coming from um, as far as that part is. But I'm curious what you think. You said we need a John Jones statue. Where though? Where? Who would be accepting of a John Jones statue? I mean, Dana might put it outside his house, apparently. Um, but that would be interesting to see where they would put a John Jones statue. And a statue of what? Like him doing lines or him doing a spinning back elbow? Like what would it be? He said, Tats, I'm loving the Gary trajectory. He's clearly not as good as what he thinks he is, which I love. He's not. He's not. He thinks he's amazing. But, you got to have some self confidence, but you got to have self awareness too. And he doesn't seem to have any of that. Yeah, and his last two have been yuck. But he's kind of been just going out there to get his hand raised, not necessarily to finish anything. He says just you can see Volkov getting buried, whereas Gahn is having less and less success as of recent. I can see that. I can see that. So you're putting more on the improvement than what the level actually is? Because I do see Volkov improving. I definitely see that. That is for sure. But has he leveled up to where Silgan is the question. And I mean, like I said, the inactivity from Silgan is what throws the whole thing into disarray. But when they went head to head, Silgan did what he had to do and he won. Um Now, granted, that was 2021. That's 3 years ago, and Alexander Volkov has done quite a bit since then, whereas Saragon has not. Let me see. He's been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's gone 5-1, only losing to Tom Aspinall since they fought. Whereas Saragon has fought. Let's see. He's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gone 2-3 in his last 5. So I don't know who the gun beat that's elite. Well, it depends. Is Alexander Volkov elite? Sounds like y'all are saying he is because he beat him. So if Volkov is not elite, then he didn't beat anybody elite. If Volkov is elite, then he beat somebody elite. So I mean, it depends. It depends on how you say it. Now, Volkov did beat Sergey Pavlovich, and this is where the inactivity part starts to rear its head for Cyril Gahn. He's inactive, and he could have fought Sergey. He could have fought Tom to really put his stamp of where he is, but he didn't. So now it's subjective. But he does have one thing over Volkov. And y'all know what that is. Yeah, he beat Tai Tuivasa, but Tai Tuivasa is not elite. Tai Tuivasa is an elite brawler, but he's not elite. I think that he showed that in his last few fights, where he's come tumbling down the rankings. You say, yeah, Gary isn't really. No, yeah, he's not. I saw. I think Gary went on Ariel show, and he was talking about fighting Shavkat. Bruh, he don't want to fight Shavkat. Shavkat will finish him, and it would be terrible for him. He doesn't. He needs to. What he's trying to do is what he should continue doing, is going the easiest route to a championship as possible. Just take the softest route. He should have gone back to calling out Colby. That's what he should have done. You said a large John Jones statue of him crouched or crawling, or just in a fighting stance. Maybe, but the problem with that stance is Rashad Evans has that stance, and so does Anderson Silva. So it's not necessarily unique. Said Gary is asking for Shavkat. He is, which is dumb. He shouldn't. He should never ask for. He shouldn't even say his name. Tai Tuivasa is better than that. He's better than that. Not to say that Tank was terrible, because Tank was knocking dudes out, but Tai Tuivasa is a little bit better than that. Tai Tuivasa is kind of a Mark Hunt to me, and I'm not saying that both because they're both Samoan, but they have a lot of similarities in the way that they fight. Mark Hunt's more technical than Tai Tuivasa, but they have a very similar style, I think. Gane stylistically is such an outlier at heavyweight. He is, but there's one person that matches up with him with his speed and his movement, and that's Tom. And Tom adds on the ability to grapple, which Gane clearly does not have. Hopefully he's working on that right now. It's hard to really comprehend how good he really is at the moment. It is because he's not fighting. I wonder who he's gonna fight. Like who is he gonna fight? It's probably gonna be somebody stupid, somebody that doesn't make any sense. Like when he fought Sergey Spivak. Like, I mean, I guess he fought somebody, but now it's closing in on about a year being away, and that's really throwing people off. See, Paradox said, I think they're both Tom's children, but I reckon Volkov has made his way to equal Gon's level, seeing as they were both close before Gon got dropped by Ty and lost twice. He did get dropped by Ty, but he won the fight. He knocked him out. And he got choked out by John Jones, who has superior grappling. He got knocked out by Francis Ngannou. Like when Francis was like Francis. I mean, I don't know. But what would be nice is if we could find it out. And so like Cyril Gahn kind of has an incomplete. I feel like and this is something that me and Frankie kind of talked about before, is I feel like if you haven't fought for a year, you should be out of the rankings. I mean, literally, when it hits 366 days, depending on whether it's a leap year or not, you should be out the rankings. You out. You ain't fought in a year, you are out. Technically, Sargon hasn't fought in like 9 months, I believe. So he wouldn't be out yet, but he needs to line up a fight. And at this point, I don't see a fight coming anytime soon. So he would probably be out. Yeah, I mean, I guess y'all agree. Y'all agree on that. But it's not a bad shout. It's not, but I disagree. He said tired shit, but dangerous has less kicks and hooks. He does. He's dangerous. He's very, very dangerous. If you slip up, and he finds you, the the consequences are dire. It's gonna be really bad. So we don't want to see fighters take the easy route. We want to see fighters go after it. Gary asking for Scott. But he don't mean it, dude. He just saying that. He don't mean that. Nobody believes him. Nobody believes him. What is Francis gonna do next? I hear he's training boxing right now. So what I haven't heard is if Deontay Wilder is retired. If Deontay Wilder has not retired, you might get the fight. You might. He said you should be stripped at the 365 point of the belt. Might as well. It's just a day. You ain't gonna fight. 365 works for me too. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I do think that he's gonna fight Wilder, because why not? They both coming off losses, and they're both big punchers with little. Actually, Francis might be the better technical boxer in that one. I don't know, which doesn't even make sense. Smushed by an injured Ngannou that doesn't even rate him as a grappler. I don't know. He's getting close to the point where it's not going to matter anymore because he's been gone too long. But I'm holding on for him. Gary asking for Shavkat as maximum cap. It is. It is. He does not want that, dude. He does not want Shavkat. The way that he fought MVP let me know that he does not want smoke like that. He really doesn't. He said he wants him. Then he said he wants to come back in December. He knows Shavkat is ready to come back in August, September. Yes, you're right. He just blowing smoke, man. He just blowing smoke. Ray did look good. Like the grappling in that one was so elite. That was such an elite grappling match. I really enjoyed that one for sure. And then he have a WWE dude in his corner. I thought that was pretty cool. He said if Shavkat gets Leon, which he should, it should be JDM versus Usman and Bilal. Oh, JDM versus Usman against Bilal and Gary, either fighting Colby or Wonderboy. It's not a bad. It's kind of like de facto tournament. I'm curious what Usman wants to do. I don't know what he wants to do right now. I'm very confused about his direction because I'm not hearing him call for any fights, saying anything about fighting. Nothing. I'm not hearing nothing. So I don't know what he's doing, but I do know that he's kind of sitting on a position. He said Gary called out Kobe in the cage, and 6 hours later, he called his wife a throat gun. Oh my god. Yeah, he did. Yeah, and Jillian did well. She didn't get to finish, which that part sucked. And like I said, that I knew Michelle was going to retire. Everybody knew she was going to retire. The fact that they had a package already set up, they were like, okay, she's done. That was wild, um, but I'm glad that she walked away before things got really really bad. Um, but yeah, Jillian did what she had to do, and she'll take her spot, move up to 14. Is what it is. She needs a bigger fight though. I think. Oh, what actually disappointed me though, and I'm gonna ask her about it is the fact that she didn't call out a name. She just said, that she wanted to, whatever the UFC had, and I hate that. She needs to call out a name. So Wilder is cooked. If I take that, I'm taking Francis. Yep, Wilder is done. Wilder's mom asked him to retire. If your mom say you're done, you're done. Yeah, if he gets chinned, he's just more of the same. More of the same. Yeah, Colby's been pounding the table for a lightweight instead of fighting a ranked welterweight. Yeah, yeah, that's true. He's been trying to fight Dustin Poirier. And Dustin, what's the benefit? What's the benefit in fighting Colby at this point? Especially Colby not at his peak. The Colby that we just saw, I say just saw. It's been a little bit of time, but that Colby that we saw against Leon was garbage trash. That dude, he should be out the rankings. Yeah, he did almost get a twister. Like, dude, that fight was matter of fact, I need to put that on my fights to rewatch. Like the grappling was so high level. I really like that fight. Really like that fight. You said anyone that gets twisted needs a new career. It takes 3 minutes to set up. Yeah, that's a hard one. It's a really hard one for anybody to hit. And what was it? A Korean Zombie hit that on dang, what's that dude's name? Uh Leonard Garcia. That's who he hit it on. But yeah, that's a hard one to set up. And you gotta know what you're doing. And the person has to really not see it coming. But yeah, those weird submissions are always cool to see, especially in the UFC because you don't see them that often. So here's another one for y'all. My boy Body Bags got a knockout. I know you enjoyed that one, Frankie. Knocked him out easy, easy. Mark Andre Barrial he ain't been looking good in his last fights. I ain't seeing none of that power bar. And he got smashed. What do y'all think should be next for Joe Pyfer? He I don't think he should be fighting anybody that's necessarily edge of top 10. But yeah, Damone Blackshear did get one. I actually heard he just got a fight too against Montel Jackson or something like that. Um no, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think Damone Blackshear did get one. I think so. Um yeah, man, I do too. I still got my Pyfer stock. Dude, I think it would be cool to see. Let's go ahead and make the fight, man. Let's go ahead and make Joe Pyfer against Bo Nickel. Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Because we already who's RoboCop fighting? Who's RoboCop is fighting? Oh, Christian Leroy Duncan. Like those are two fringe top 15 fighters. Let's throw two other fringe top 15 fighters together. So, okay. So you said Paul Craig, him calling out Paul Craig was a pussy move. Okay, let me see something. Let me look at the UFC rankings that nobody cares about. Um, let's see. I'm looking at this rankings, and I don't see Paul Craig in it. So him calling out Paul Craig makes absolutely no sense to me. Um, and I do think that it's a easy winnable fight. So you said, hold on, I want to pinpoint on this one specifically. You said that Paul Craig is just as dangerous as Bo Nickel. Now, in what world? Paul Craig has, I'll give him a D minus in striking, whereas Bo Nickel's striking is somewhere in the C range. He's got power. He's definitely got power. You know, he's not necessarily going out there, setting traps and pulling people into strikes, but he can knock you out. Paul Craig, he can grapple, but that's about it, bro. That's a wrap for him. I feel like he should go ahead and retire and start doing movies. Paul Craig, he did break Jamal Hill's arm, but that was a long time ago, and that was really more of Jamal Hill allowing himself to be in a stupid position than Paul Craig just snatching limbs like that. Paul Craig is not great. He's not great. He's very one dimensional. Very. Um, and we do know why he called him out because easy fight. But what I disagree with the call out on is where does that get you? How does that help you? That doesn't help you at all. I think if he were to call out somebody like a Chris Curtis, that would make more sense. Um, definitely don't call out, anybody above that because anybody else in the 11 to 14 range, you got Hamza, you got Kai Barajo, Michelle Pajeda, and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He's not beating none of those dudes. So Roman Dolidze, he could have called out somebody. He really should have put some more thought into that. I didn't like that call out at all whatsoever. I liked the fight, but the moment the mic got in front of him, CJ was like, here he goes. He about to talk about being poor and he gonna call out somebody stupid. And she nailed it. That's exactly what happened. That is to a T what happened. He's got to work on that part of it. He needs a call out coach. Do they have those? Anybody have call out coaches? They need to make call out coaches. I could be a call out coach. We need to have that. Call out coaches. Yeah, he does think he can starch him, but anybody in the middleweight division that's in the top 20 to 25 can starch Paul Craig. He said he's young and just wants a padded record for now. That's what that call out demonstrated. It does. It's hard for me to disagree. And you know how much I like Joe Pyfer, but like I disagree with trying to navigate your career through padded call outs. Roman the Caucasian. Dude, that is such a weird. I mean, and I know it's got to be it's a different connotation of what Caucasian is, but to an audience that's primarily English speaking American, we look at Caucasian as that's a box that's on some sort of form to dictate what your race is. And so it's a weird name to be as a nickname, but whatever. His fight, oh my God. I didn't even have that on my list to talk about. That fight against Anthony Lionheart Smith was so hard to watch. It was so hard to watch. I watched Michael Bisping. He did a live the following day, I think it was, and he was really struggling for nice things to say about his co-host. He was really struggling. because it was that bad. He said that he needed to go back home and reassess what to do with his career. Like it was awful. It was awful. It's weird. It's interesting that 35 years old doesn't look the same in, for different people. Anthony Smith is 35, Alex Pajeda is 36, and they couldn't look further apart in their career. Hey, Crystal, I appreciate you showing up, man. Um, but yeah, their careers look so far apart, and it's so weird. It's so weird. Um, Let me ask y'all another question. What do y'all think should be next for Peyton Talbot? So first of all, I know we talked about this on a live before, and who sent the video? I can't remember who sent the video. Frankie, who was it that sent you the video? Did he send it? I can't remember who it was. Yeah, Anthony Smith looked tubby as hell, but um, but I don't know who sent that video, but in the post fight, not right after, not in the cage, but in the post fight press conference, Peyton said that that was not him that was doing the butt vaping. That's what he said. That's what he said. So apparently it wasn't him, but he did say he recorded it, which I don't know if that makes it better. Why are y'all doing that? That's weird. But so he called out Adrian Yanez, and um, Adrian did respond on Twitter. He just did the little eyes or whatever. I don't love that fight, but that's for my own selfish reasons. But what do y'all think about him doing that particular or having that call out? Ted says he likes it. It was a good one. I don't. The reason that I don't like it is, is obvious. I don't like to see people who I really have an attachment to their career fight too early. I want to kind of have a bigger fight later on. But taking that part of it out of it, if I were Peyton, I would have called him out too. I definitely would have called him out. I wonder how y'all think that fight would go though. Because Yanez is a very, very good striker. Obviously very young Jorge Masvidal-esque, with the work with his hands. But Peyton is just different, dude. Like Peyton has superstar written all over him. And I'm curious. I am curious how that fight would go. I'm very curious how that fight would go. And I'm curious if they would put that as a like a co-main on the fight night. I think that would be cool. I think that would really be cool. Oh yeah, Smith has been through the grinder, but he has. But yes, he has over 50 regular fights. But you look at the fact that Alex Pajeda, he has 35 kickboxing fights. Add that to his MMA record, and you get about the same total. So, what's the difference? See, Yanez is not good enough at this stage, and it's the right call out. I think that Peyton Talbot. I think Peyton wins that fight. I wouldn't bet on that fight because it's a tough one, but I do kind of think Peyton wins that fight, man. Dang, that sucks. I think he would. No, I agree with that, given their quality. But it could do that. It could be a main event. I would much rather it be a co-main to just a slightly bigger fight. But you're right. Like the way that they've been kind of putting these things together. If it were one of those like lackluster kind of fill in the date type of fight, um, then yeah, yeah. You said the difference is Alex smoked most of his opponents. Mm, he got 7 losses in kickboxing, so he's lost. He's taking the beating in some of those losses too. Um, so I mean, I'm not saying that they have the same level of punishment, but but they both have very lengthy careers and both have taken punishment. Anthony isn't necessarily getting chinned out in all of his, especially the ones that he had early on. So I don't know, man. But Alex is just different too. He's just a different kind of dude. I'm curious how much longer he's gonna want to do this for. Considering he's kind of reaching the pinnacle of his popularity, his money making ability. Like, is he just gonna ride it until the wheels fall off, or is he gonna kind of leave at the top of his game? I'm curious. I think he wants to. If I were him, and actually I'll ask y'all this now, but if I were him, I think I would fight. If they were to offer me the Aspinall fight, I'd take it for sure right now. But I wouldn't mind fighting Ankalaev. I wouldn't mind it. Um, but I would prefer for it to be in Brazil so I could really maximize things. And then if he knocks him out, go ahead and get Aspinall. I think that would be cool. I think so. Yeah, kickboxing is like that. Fights are more regular. They do have more. They have fights more often than they have actual tournaments that they fight in. He has fights that aren't on his record that he competed in. Um, so I don't know. I think he's taken a lot of damage over time too. Even though he may have come out on top in those situations, he's taken his fair amount of damage. Yeah, he's been in some bad situations. Glover beat his face in. Khalil made him look stupid. Um, yeah, he's been in some bad situations. Absolutely. Uncle Ive is not the smartest person. Um, you can go ahead and take out the fighter part. He has his trouble just being a smart person. He makes some bad decisions, but I feel like we need to go ahead. I am a person who likes to get fights out of the way. Like, I don't want these fights that kind of need to happen to just linger on. Like, I thought that the Bilal fight should have already happened. Do I want to see Bilal in the championship fight? No, I don't. Nobody wants to see that except for Matua, but nobody really wants to see that. But it's a fight that has to happen. Let's just get it out of the way and just get it over with. Ankalaev is going to sit there hovering at that spot for a while if we don't just get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. We all think that Alex is going to win that fight. Unless I'm different, unless I'm thinking incorrectly. Do y'all think that Alex is going to beat Ankalaev? I think so. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's just get it over with. Put it on a card that has a good top 5, not one that's like Alex and a bunch of randoms. Just put it on a good card. Let's just get it out of the way. We don't have to hear about him no more. Just get it done. Don't let him linger up there. I keep on bringing up the John Fitch thing. John Fitch thing is etched in my brain because it bothered me. Like, he was just sitting up there and he was complaining. Sit there, complain. And it was just ridiculous. Just get it over with. Let that person go in there and get beat, and then we won't have to worry about it no more. So let Uncle I fight Alex. Get it out of the way, and let's go. Thank you, Aaron. Like, yes, I think he beats him. That's another notch on his belt. That's another, march forward towards, putting himself in the elites of all time. He got to beat somebody. So why not let Magomed Ankalaev try his hand? Yes, I know he had a terrible fight against Jan Blachowicz. I know he did. But Alex's fight against Jan Blachowicz wasn't necessarily a barn burner either. Now, was it? What's the common denominator? Jan Blachowicz's fight against Israel Adesanya wasn't necessarily super entertaining, was it? What's the common denominator? Maybe Magomed Ankalaev shows something different. Who knows? Let's just get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way. Because you know what? When Jan Blachowicz's shoulders heal up, guess who we're going to be hearing talking then? Just get this stuff out of the way, man. Just get it out of the way. I knew you were going to say John Fitch is good. Somehow I knew you were going to say that. John Fitch was very good at being boring. He was elite at being boring. I know how you feel about Ankalaev. I understand this. And I can understand why you would say that he doesn't deserve it. Because there's a variety of reasons, actually, of why he doesn't deserve it. But the fact is, they got that man ranked up there. And if you look around the top 5, you got Yuri Prochazka at 1. Obviously, he's not getting a third shot right now. You got Ankalaev at 2. You got Jamal Hill at 3. We already know that's not going to happen. We got Jan Blachowicz. He's injured, but Alex has already beat him. We got Alexander Rakic, who Yuri chinned out at 300. So who's left? Krylov, we don't even know if he's alive. And then there's Johnny Walker. Who's left? We got to go Ankalaev. We have no choice. We literally don't have a choice. This division is screwed up right now, kind of like lightweight. Lightweight screwed up too, because there's so many people that have so many issues. Either they're coming off of a loss, or they're injured, or they got something stupid going on, like Michael Chandler, who shouldn't even be ranked. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Ulberg is paid down. What's wrong with you? Is it Pride Month? It is Pride Month, right? They were going to give Roundtree and Ulberg the title shot if they won at 303. I mean, yeah. So if Ulberg beat a number 3 ranked Jamal Hill and moved up to number 3, sure, I guess they would. And you know why they would have given the title shot is because now they have an alternative to Magomed Ankalaev. Right now, they don't really have an alternative. They just kind of don't. Now, Alex is going to sit down for a little bit. Probably he's going to take a break. But after he takes his break, what's going to shake out in the division? They got to either make some matchups, or they got to just make this fight. It's one of the two. They got to do it. Speed running Alex to the belt, trash the division. Yeah. It kind of did trash the division. Well, I don't know if it trashed the division. I think the division trashed itself. Look, we got people in the top 10 that are losing the middleweights. So that division trashed itself. Alex the heavyweight. Has he earned it though? Has he? What does earned it really mean? He's earned it because there's no viable contenders, or he's earned it because of what? Because he got fast tracked to a belt at middleweight, won, didn't defend it, lost, moved up, fought a dude who he barely squeaked out a decision, and then he won the belt and defended the belt once. Now he gets to go to a third division? Why? Why? How does he deserve that? I don't understand how that's a deserved situation. Is he deserved because of the circumstances? Because of what's going on? Maybe. Is he deserved on merit? Absolutely not. Nothing. You defend your belt one time. Yes, you have 2 belts. Sure. Yeah, that's cool. You did it. You did it. Circumstances allowed for you to get those 2 belts, and you took advantage of those circumstances. I applaud that. But did your merit in defending that belt, which you've done one time, merit you to oh, no, twice. Twice? Twice. Sure. Does that merit you getting a title shot in the 3rd division? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. Will it be exciting to see? Yeah, it's history. It's historic, but is it deserved? Nah, I don't think so. But I mean, obviously, I'd watch. I'd be interested. I'd be interested to see what happens. And I think that that's really where what it really comes down to is it interesting? Yes, it's absolutely interesting. It's extremely interesting. Um, wow. That's big of you to say. That's big of you to say. Rather Roundtree get a title shot than Ankalaev. Nah, I like Roundtree. Um, but what I would say is if Ankalaev and Roundtree fought and the winner gets a title shot, I'd be down for that. Ankalaev should win that fight though. That should be it. Yeah, I think that would be cool. That would be cool. Roundtree, Oldberg would be mad, but whatever. He had to pull out, so that's his fault. Um, yeah, I think that Alex should take some time off, get his toes situated because he was popping his toes in and out at the end. Yeah, agreed, agreed. I'm curious why he didn't wrap his foot. Maybe it just feels weird, but I saw other fighters. I think I saw other fighters on the card that had foot wraps, and I'm curious why he didn't wrap his because that may have made him a little bit more comfortable. I don't know. I don't know. Um, so I should be fighting Rockage, but why would Ankalaev fight Rockage? Rockage is coming off of a loss. So is Hill. Why would he fight back and fight somebody coming off a loss? Now, I mean, I agree that him getting a title shot off of beating Johnny Walker is kind of lame, but I mean, everybody else lost. I mean, what you want to do? Alex versus Gon intrigues me. That would be a good fight. That would be a good fight. Um, I'm. I don't know. I don't know how that fight will go. Like because Cyril Gane has a pretty good reach too, and he's very quick. I don't know. I don't know how that would go. That would be a good fight. He should wait for heavyweight to play out and go for that at the end of the year or start of next year. I don't know. He's stalling division out. Anytime that's a champ situation, stalls divisions out. But if he's waiting anyway, it might be okay. Especially considering the fact that, like I said, everybody else is coming off of losses, and maybe it would give them time to get a solid, number one contender. So could work. I don't love it as far as the meritocracy part of it, but as far as like the timelines, it could work. It could work. Um so the thing I think Alex gets beaten by a few guys at heavyweight, but if I'm him, you do have to go for it. If I'm Alex, like I have a totally different line of thinking. I'm thinking outside of it as a person that's watching and analyzing the sport. But if I'm Alex, oh, I'm looking at it totally different. Yeah, I'm gonna go up and try to you know forget light heavyweight. I got the belt. I did what I did. I'm going to fight Tom. That's what it is. I'd probably be trying to rehab and get my and put on maybe 10, 15 pounds. Maybe. Ankalaev versus Roundtree. I feel like we made a couple of matches here. So we made the Ian Gary versus JDM match, and we made Ankalaev versus Roundtree for the number one contender. I like that. Yeah, I thought MVP had. See, yeah, why didn't he do the foot wraps? I don't understand, but oh, whatever. His foot. The Carlos Oberg shouldn't get it because he's too busy. What's with you in the dating? You crazy dog. All right, all right. So Alex versus Ankalaev. Okay. Jamal Hill versus Roundtree rebooked. Okay. Rockets versus Oberg, and Yuri takes some time off. That's realistic. That's very realistic. I like that. I like that. That's a good lineup. That would really sort out the division. Man, he needs to make his way to the UFC and do his thing. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Tats. I think that's probably the way to go. Alex versus Ankh, Hill versus Roundtree, Rockets versus Oberg. That's a dope mix. You'll really find it out there. So Ali would campaign relentlessly to get Ankalaev a shot. He just doing his job. Ali Abdelaziz, um, Ankh versus Roundtree, but I doubt it gets made. A lot of things will have to fall out for Khalil to get that shot, man. I feel like, and it wasn't his fault. I saw the video, but that injury really kind of set him back. He was about to get fast tracked up there just by circumstances alone. So unless if Ankh really wants to fight in Dubai, I wonder if he does. I don't know. I haven't heard much out of him outside of just weird, stupid call outs. But um, yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious where his head is at, and what his time, what his timetable is. You are in the presence of geniuses. We literally did the matchmaking for them. Like that's it. That's what we need. That's what they need to do. They literally need to be watching the stream right now. The Ankh is gonna wait around for Alex no matter how long it takes, and that will piss the UFC off. He might, dude. He might. He might. I mean, they already don't like him because of that draw. So it's interesting that they hate him because of the draw, but they're not that mad at Jan Blachowicz. Um, they thought it was bad, but they're like, okay, well, Jan has some stuff going on. He just had a baby. His shoulders ain't right. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his head, so maybe he just had a bad performance. But Ankalaev, this is your fault. So him waiting around, it's probably not a good look at all. So I'm curious what his timeline is though, when he wants to actually get back in the cage. I don't know. I don't know, but he needs to hurry up. That's the way to get back in the good graces of the UFC is you got to get back in there as soon as possible. Perhaps take a short notice fight. I noticed that they didn't say anything about him throwing his hand up, to take a short notice fight for this one. But it's Ankalaev. It's kind of where it goes. But Frankie, question: are you doing a live later on? Because I'm about to jump off and go and pick up my children. But are you doing a live a little bit later? I'm sure everybody wants to jump on it. For everybody that's in here, I appreciate y'all jumping in. I'll definitely be. Well, we'll probably be doing a live together tomorrow. Tomorrow Wednesday, yeah, tomorrow, and hopefully we can get back on the close fights, the bad calls. No, what was it? Bad, the robberies, close fights, and bad decisions. Thing that we were working on before, because there's some interesting fights that we wanted to talk about. He said Dark Horse at 205. Uh, it's true. It's true. He has all striking finishes. It's off, but appreciate it, Tats. Um, but yeah, like I said, we'll be on. Hopefully, I think Frankie's gonna be streaming later on. He'll jump on, and like I said, tomorrow we'll be jumping on too. So I appreciate y'all jumping on in here and indulging in this conversation. But next Tuesday we'll be on same time, so y'all be looking for it. Hopefully, y'all are getting alerts and stuff. This alert stuff is weird. Some people get alerts and some people don't. Oh, you said you might. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, y'all be looking out for it. But yeah, I'm gonna jump off, and I'll see y'all same time next week. But